रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Friends, we are very happy that we have a visiting Swami tonight. The Swami's name is Swami Nikhilatmananda. He was the head of the Ramakrishna Math and Mission in Allahabad for 17 years. The Swami joined the Ramakrishna Order in 1970. He was a disciple of Swami Vishuddhananda Ji Maharaj, who was a disciple of Holy Mother. Swami got his final vows from Swami Bireshwarananda Ji Maharaj. He was also a disciple of Holy Mother in 1980. And he was coming from Raipur, but his family is something very praiseworthy. His three brothers are monks of the Ramakrishna Order. His elder brother Swami Atmananda Ji was a great Swami, and I knew him very well. Great scholar, great speaker. Then his another brother, younger brother also, both brothers died. Now Swami is retiring from Allahabad and I'm going to stay in Benares. And last time when I was in India, he also one of the speakers at the 150th anniversary of Swami Vivekananda in Belur Math. And both we shared same platform in Bhubaneswar also 2 days. Swami and myself, we are together, and he's a great scholar, great speaker in Hindi, and he knows that language very well. This night, Swami will speak on Ramacharitmanas, which is a famous book on Ramayana, composed by Tulsidas, a medieval mystic saint. The book is in Hindi, so we give harmonium to Swami. So sometimes he will speak in English, of course, and then he will sing some of the originals of Tulsidas' composition, and you will get some flavor of the original from his talk. We'd be very happy if you would come on Sunday, but we could not get him. But anyhow, something is better than nothing. So we got Swami on Tuesday, and Swami will speak on Ramacharitmanas. Swami Nikhilatmananda.
First, let us change the divine name of the Lord, as is the tradition of Ramcharitmanasa. Then, we will start the discourse. I will sing, you can also accompany me. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Dear Swami Chaitanya Maharaj, dear Swami Nishpapanand Ji, Swami Nirakaran Ji, and dear friends, it's really a privilege for me to be here. I just came to USA for 45 days tour. So I'm covering many of the centers. This is the 5th center that I have come. And really I am very fortunate to have this occasion. This Ramcharitmanas, as revered Swami Chaitanand Ji has told, is not only a narration of Sri Rama's life, but it has many spiritual values also. It makes us to think how one can proceed towards Godhead, what are the hindrances on the path, and how to overcome it. We all feel that the advent of Sri Ram was for the destruction of Ravana. We all think like that. But Goswami Tulsidas Ji has another version. Goswami Tulsidas said, yes, Sri Rama killed Ravana, but that was not only the reason. It has much more significance of his advent. If he ought to have killed Ravana, his advent was only for killing Ravana. There were another persons who were before him who can kill Ravana easily. Goswami named 3 persons were there. One was Bali. He was a great warrior. He was a monkey king. And Bali defeated Ravana in a battle. Not only defeated, he fainted him. And this fainted Ravana he put it in his armpit and moves around the world for 6 months. Just to show this world famous Ravana is under my armpit. If you had put a little more pressure on the armpit, Ravana would have died there itself. But Bali wanted to show the whole world this world famous Ravana is under my armpit. He didn't kill him. Similarly, there was another king, Sahasrarjuna. It is said he had, 1,000 hands. He also had a fight with Ravana. That incident comes like this. Ravana was worshipping Shivalinga, at the bank of Narmada. Suddenly Ravana said that there was a flood in the river, and his whole worship washed away. Ravana wondered, this is not the time of rainy season, there is no rain. How suddenly this flood came? In order to find out the reason, Ravana started on the opposite direction of the river, just to find out the reason. After reaching some distance, Ravana found this Sahasrarjuna was bathing with his queens in the river Narmada. And for making fun, this Sahasrarjuna with his 1,000 hands stopped the flow of Narmada. And when he released his hands, the same water flew like a flood. Ravana thought this is the reason why all this worship is washed away. He challenged Sahasrarjuna for a fight. In that fight, Sahasrarjuna defeated Ravana, but he did not kill him. He could have easily killed Ravana, if you like. Third name, Goswamiji tells that of Parashuram. Parashuram didn't have directly fight with Ravana. But this Parashuram, he had fight with Sahasrarjuna. Parashuram killed with his axe all this 1,000 hands of Sahasrarjuna and killed him. So the ordinary logic says the person who can kill Sahasrarjuna, it was not difficult for Parashuram to kill Ravana. So Goswamiji said, when 3 persons were there before Ram, who could have killed Ravana easily, there was no necessity of Ram to incarnate. So there is much more significant reason for the incarnation of Sri Ram. What was the reason? Goswami Tulsidas illustrates this with an example, with an incident. The incident is when Sri Rama killed Ravana in Lanka, all these devas came from the heaven in their celestial chariots. They came to Lanka and they started praising Sri Rama, telling him, "Oh Lord, killing this Ravana, you have done a great boon to us. This Ravana has tormented the whole world. Vishwadroharat yah khalakami nijaya gagaye hukumarat." He was the enemy of the whole world. O Lord, you have punished him, you have done a great help to us. They are praising Rama and thus discarding Ravana in many ways. Then one Deva said, "We all Devas are here, but Mahadev Shankar has not come. Why has he not come?" One Dev said, "Arey, Shankar ji is the guru of Ravana. Just possible he must be lamenting at the death of his disciple. That's why he has not come." But then Lord Shankar comes. When he comes, Goswamiji writes, "Astuti kari kari sura chale, chadhi chadhi rochir biman, dekhi suavasar Ram paho, aaye shambhu sujan." Astuti kari kari sura chale. When all these devas praising this Ram in several ways, when they went away in their celestial chariots, Goswami said, "Aaye Shambhu Sujan." Then the learned Mahadev, learned Shankar, he came. Goswamiji had not good idea about these devatas, all these devas. When these devas they came, Goswamiji wrote, "Aaye Dev Mahaswarathi, Bachanu kahe janu paramarati." All these selfish devas have come. They talk of high things, but they are very selfish. This Dev Yoni is considered to be a very good Yoni. After performing noble deeds, a person goes to heaven. And those who have much more virtuous deeds, they become devas. But Goswamiji is telling they are very selfish. Why? Goswamiji is saying is, after reaching this heaven, what they do? Do they take the name of Lord there? No. They are busy in enjoying this heavenly pleasure. They only remember Lord when they are asuras, all these demons. When they come to heaven and attack them, then these devas will go to either they will go to Mahadev, they will go to Vishnu. Otherwise they are all busy enjoying the heavenly pleasures. That's why Goswamiji says they are very selfish. For their self, they may even go to Ravana and even come to Ram. when Sri Ram was in Chitrakoot, number of these devas, they came there. Goswami writes, Amar Nag Kinnar Dishipala Chitrakoot aaye tehi kala. Goswami says, this Amar Nag Kinnar Dishipal, various categories of these devas, they came to Chitrakoot. Ram pranam saban ko kina. And Shri Ram made pranams to all of them. And when later, when Sri Hanuman went to the court of Ravana, what he found? There are also these devas are just standing with folded hands. That means they can go to Rama also and Ravana also. You can just judge them like the politicians of today, especially in India. All these politicians have different flags in their pocket. When Congress comes into power, they will bring out that Tiranga flag. When BJP will come into power, they will bring out this Bhagwa flag. So they are just like these politicians. That's why till these devas were there, Lord Shankar didn't come. And there we find really one more example of these devas. When this fierce battle was going on between Rama and Ravana, these devas were there on their celestial chariots in the sky. They were all there. And what they were calling? They were calling Jai Ho, Jai Ho, Jai Ho, victory unto thee, victory unto thee. For whose victory they are not telling. If Ravana has won the battle, they say, yes, we were saying victory unto thee. For your victory we were just calling. But they, in heart of heart, they want that Sri Ram should be victorious. That's why they were even throwing flowers unto him. But if Ram could have become victorious, Ravana could have become victorious. And if he asked, whose victory you were just asking for, they would say, oh sir, we are asking for your victory, we are praying for your victory. But you are throwing flower on the Rama's head? No sir, we were throwing flower on your head, but due to wind it goes towards Ram. What you should do? We are calling for your victory. Such are these devas. That's why Lord Shankar didn't come when all these devas were there. When all these devas they departed, Astuti kari kari sura chale, chadi chadi ruchir biman, dekhi so avasar Ram aaye shambhu sujan. Astuti kari kari sura chale. When all these devas doing praising Sri Rama went away in their celestial chariots, then I Shambhu Sujan. Goswami writes, then learned Mahadev, he came. The Goswamiji's intention is, so far as this, all this unwise, these devas were there, why Shankar didn't come? When they departed, this Shankarji, he came there. And Lord Shankar didn't praise Ram for killing Ravana. But he says a wonderful thing. He says, Mam abhirakshaya raghukul nayak vitabar chaparuchir karasai. He says, oh Lord, save me, save me, save me. Everybody is wondering from whose Lord Shankar is wanting the safety. There is no Ravana left, no Kumbhakarna left, no Rakshasas left. From who is desiring safety? The intention of Lord Shankar was, O Shri Ram, You killed Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and all these devas, they came and they praised you. But as a man, this Ravana and Kumbhakarna had been killed, but this Ravana and Kumbhakarna are still in our hearts. Ravana is in form of infatuation, he is in my heart. Kumbhakarna in form of ahankara, ego, that is in my heart. Your incarnation is not for only killing this Ravana and Kumbhakarna, but your real incarnation is for removing this, that is infatuation, that ahankar, that lust in my heart. This is the intention of Lord Shankar, that Sri Ram didn't incarnate it only for killing this Ravana, Kumbhakarna and Rakshasas. But see, his incarnation is to remove all these evil propensities in our heart. That is the reason of his incarnation. And that is the same is the reason Goswamiji says Sri Rama didn't come only for killing these Rakshasas, but he has come to remove all these evil propensities that is in our hearts. And that's why when these evil propensities are today is in our hearts, Sri Rama can incarnate himself today itself. Goswamiji used to visit Chitrakoot many times. Devotees said to Goswamiji, Goswamiji, you often go to Chitrakoot because Sri Ram was there, isn't it? Lord Ram was there. Goswami said, is the Lord is always in past tense? If one is a Lord, he will be present in all the times. That's why he said, Chitrakoota Mahabasata Prabhu Nitasya Lakhan Samet. Sri Lord Ram is still in the Chitrakoot. He is staying with Lakshmana and Sita ji. He is still there. This is the notion of Goswami Tulsidas ji. When since all these evil propensities are in our heart, today Lord Ram can incarnate in ourselves and remove all these evil propensities. Who are this Ravana Kumbhakarna? It has been said, Moha Dashamauli Tadabratayankar Pakara Jita Kama Vishram Hari. Moha Dashamauli. This Ravana is the infatuation incarnate, Moha. Kumbhakarna is the Ahankar, ego incarnate. Pakar Jitkama Vishram Hari, and this Meghanath is the lust incarnate. Little water. This Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they did great penance, great tapasya. And Mahadev Shankar was pleased with their penance, with their austerity. He started from Kailash. Parvati ji asked, Lord, where are you going? Shri Shankar told, I am going to give boons to this Ravana Kumbhakarna. They have done a great penance. On the way, Shri Brahma met Lord Shankar. Brahmaji told, Lord, where are you going? Lord Shiva told, I am going to give boons to this Ravana and Kumbhakarna. Brahma told, O Lord, I will accompany you. God knows what boon you will give to them. Sometimes you are also in trouble and we put us also in trouble. Lord Shankar is like that. Whosoever wants, whatever boon one wants, he gave them. Once one Rakshasa, one demon, he did great penance. Shankarji was pleased. He asked him, what do you want? What boon you want? He said, O Lord, just give me this boon. On whose head I will keep my hands, he should be burnt. This is the boon I want. Shankara said, Tathastu, yes, you will get that. That Rakshasa saw that Parvati ji is with Shankara. He thought himself, let me test this boon on Shankara himself, so that I will get the hand of Parvati. He ran towards Shankara to put his hand on his head. Shankara flew away from there and went to Lord Vishnu and told him, "Oh Lord, save me. I had given this boon to this Rakshasa, and that fellow is coming."
Give a chair there and put on the chair.
To Gauravaji. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have given boon to this Rakshasa and he is trying that boon on me. Immediately Lord Vishnu take a form of a Mohini, beautiful girl. And when this Rakshasa arrived, seeing Mohini, forget Parvati. He said to this Mohini, "You marry me." Mohini said, "Yes, I will marry you, but there is one condition. We both will dance first. You will have to dance as I will dance. If you pass the test, then I will marry you." That Rakshasa agreed, yes. Mohini started dancing, Rakshasa is also dancing. While dancing, Mohini just put her hand on her head. So did the Rakshasa. Just putting hand on his head, he just was burnt to ashes. So that's why Brahmaji told, "O Lord Shiva, I will accompany you. God knows what boon you will be giving them." First they reached Ravana. Lord Shankar asked, "My dear, I am very much pleased with your tapasya. What boon you want to ask?" He asked for a boon. Ravan said, "I want only one boon, Lord. Hum kahu ke marahi na mare. You give me this boon that I should not be killed by anybody. This boon I want." At once Brahmaji told, "No, this boon can't be given to you. But whosoever has taken birth, his death is essential, he will die certainly. This boon cannot be given to you." First Ravana looked at Shiva and then looked at Brahma and he calculated. Brahma has 4 heads, Shiva has 5 heads. But I have 6 heads, I have 10 heads. They can't be equal to me in intellect. This woman who is a Moh incarnated, he always thinks himself to be very intelligent. We see, when this Mahabharata battle was to take place, first this Arjuna was very much confident of winning the battle. But when he saw this Kaurava, this army of Kaurava, seeing a big army, then he was dejected. He was infatuated. And then he talks to Krishna in such a lofty words, saying, "Oh Krishna, if this battle is held, do you know what will happen? Kulachaye pranashyanti kuladharma cha shashvata dharmi naste kulam Krishna adharmo bhavatyuta adharmo bhavad Krishna pradushyanti kulastriya istri sudushta suvashne jayate varna shankara." He gave a good sermon to Krishna. Krishna himself was very much astonished. What intellect has come, how learned this Arjuna has become. It was all due to this moha. A person who is infatuated, he thinks himself to be very, very intelligent. This Arjuna said to Krishna, "Krishna, you know, if this battle take place, all our families will be destroyed. Then family religion will be destroyed. If religion is destroyed, irreligion will take place. Our women folk will become corrupted. So they will give birth to this Varna Shankara." Give some big sermon he gives. And this Ravana is there. The infatuation incarnate, he just calculated These both have only 9 heads, but I have 10 heads. They can't be equal to me in intelligence. He said, Acha, you can't give me this boon, you can give me this boon. He said, Hum kahu ke marhi na mare, banar manuj jati dui bari, banar manuj jati dui bari. This boon you can give, that except men and monkeys, I should not be killed by anybody. This boon you can give. Lord Shankar looked at Brahmaji. Brahmaji said, yes, Lord, you give them that boon. Shiva said, Tathastu, yes, what you want, you will get. Now Ravana is thinking, oh, I have become immortal. This man and monkeys, I eat them, so they can't kill me. And if this man and monkey can't kill me, I will become invincible. Nobody will be able to kill me. But when Lord Shiva returned to Kailash, Parvati asked him, oh Lord, what boon this Ravana asked? Smiling, Lord Shiva said, he asked a boon for his death. He said, I should be killed either by monkey or by man. So it is sure he will be killed by any one of them. See, Ravana, thinking himself so intelligent, he paved the path of death by himself. After giving boon to Ravana, Sri Shiva and Brahma went to Kumbhakarna. And Brahmaji, seeing the body of Kumbhakarna just like a mountain, big body, he was very much perplexed. And seeing how much he is eating, Brahma thought, if he is eating like this, nothing will be left in the world. Saying, Brahma said, Jo yah prati ahar kar soi, Vishwa begi sab chaupat hui, Vishwa begi sab chaupat hui. If he started eating like this, whole world will be extinct. He will devour everything. So Brahmaji prayed to Goddess Saraswati. He said to her that, oh, just change his mind. He should ask the boon just the opposite of what he is thinking. What boon he was going to ask? He was going to ask that I should be awake 6 months and only sleep for a day. Brahma thought, if he awakes for 6 months, what will be left in the world? He will finish everything. So he prayed to Saraswati, Brahmaji prayed to Saraswati, just change his mind. He should ask just the opposite of what he is thinking. And when Lord Shiva asked him, well, my dear, what do you want? He said, by that time Saraswati ji has done her work. He said, I should sleep for 1 day and I should sleep for 6 months and just awake for a day. Give me this boon. Brahmaji told Shankara, Lord, give him immediately, otherwise he may ask something else. Lord Shiva said, yes, tathastu. That will happen, that will be given to you, but mind well. While sleeping, if you are awake, then the death will be there for you. You will die. So really, what a great boon Lord Shankar has given to us. This Kumbhakarna is Ahankar personified, ego personified. What a great boon Sri Lord Shankar has given to us, that he has made our Ahankar sleep for 6 months. If always our ego is there, you see what havoc it does. If the ego of 2 nations they arise, then we get this world war. We are very fortunate that Lord Shankar has made this ego sleep for 6 months. Lord Shankar said, if you are awakened, When while you are sleeping, that will be death for you. And when this Kumbhakarna is awakened, when Sri Rama's army finished half the army of Ravana, then Ravana went to this Kumbhakarna who was sleeping there. And please listen, in our life also, when we are also having this Rama's army now inside us. What is Rama's army? All the good qualities that we are having, that is the Rama's army inside us. And all the bad qualities that we are having, the worst qualities, that is Ravana's army. When this Rama's army inside us, what is Rama's army? All the good qualities. That is, when we have this tyaga, renunciation, service to others, when we follow this austerity, these are Rama's, good qualities are Rama's army. When by our good qualities we won over these bad qualities or worse qualities, then this Kumbhakarna awakes. I have lust as the bad quality. At the same time, I have this austerity also. By austerity, when I won over this lust, at once this Kumbhakarna is awake. Oh, I am so austere. I am so tyagi. That greed is there in me. With renunciation, I just won over the greed. I say, I am such a tyagi. I am such a austere. When by our good qualities, when we won over these bad qualities, this ahankar comes in. I am so learned. I am so punyatma. This is really the thing. When half the Ravana's army were finished by this Rama's army, then Ravana came to Kumbhakarna. He awoke him. Kumbhakarna said, why you have awakened me? Don't you know? If somebody awake me while I am sleeping, it will be death for me. Ravana said, what to do, brother? Our half army has been finished by this Rama's army. Why Rama has attacked you? Then Ravana narrated the whole things, how he abducted Sita, how Sri Rama has attacked with all these monkeys. Kumbhakarna was not knowing, he was just sleeping. Just hearing this, Kumbhakarna started scolding Ravana. Jagadamba Hariyane Sathacha Hasi Kalyan. O wretched one, you have abducted Sita ji, Jagadamba, the mother of the universe, and you want your welfare. Ravana ought to have been bewildered. Oh, I have just come to instigate him against Rama, and he is saying Sita is Jagadamba. But Ravana is not perplexed. And then what this Kumbhakarna started? He just started meditating on Rama. Rama Rupa Guna Sumirata. He started just meditating on Rama, his qualities. Ravana would have been much more perplexed, but no. Ravana knows his nature. He knows that he is now taking the name of Ravana, but he will do my work. The person who is egoistic, he will take the name of Rama, but the work he performs is that of Ravana. This is the thing we find. So just for a moment, this Kumbhakarna is meditating on Ram. In the meantime, Ravana has asked his servants to bring hundreds of carts full of this flesh of buffalo and wines, full in the pots. When Kumbhakarna opened his eyes and saw that flesh of buffalo is before him, pots of wines are before him, he forget Rama. He started just eating flesh and drinking wine and roaring like anything. He forget Rama. Ravana is knowing his nature. And really, when we are infatuated, when we are in the grip of this Kumbhakarna, who is the ego personified, ahankar personified, we take the name of Rama but do the work of Ravana. This is always there. This Kumbhakarna is eating the flesh and drinking the wine. He started roaring. Ravana asked him, brother, would you fight? Yes, I will fight. From whose side? Rama's side. No, you are my brother. I will fight for you. But you are just praising Rama and telling Sita as Jagdamba. No, you are my brother. I will fight for you. This is the condition when we are infatuated with ahankara. We take the name of Ravana but do the work of Ravana. Take the name of Ram, but the work we perform is that of Ravana. Ravana said, yes, you will fight for me. This army is just to help you. Kumbhakarna said, I didn't need any army, do not need any army. I myself will alone finish the whole army of Rama. And really, once this ahankar, if it gets position in our heart, if ahankar rises in our heart, it finishes all the good qualities that is inside us. If this ego comes inside us, it finishes all the good qualities. That's why this Kumbhakarna says, I am enough to finish all this Rama's army. There is an incident. It comes that Narad was doing great tapas, great penance. Saying his tapas, this Indra thought that Rama, just Narad may be desirous of just getting hold of my heaven. He sent Kamdev, the god of lust, just to dissuade Narad from tapasya. Kamdev came with his apsaras and tried his best to dissuade Narad from his tapasya, but then Narad was so much engrossed in tapasya, Kamdev was not victorious. Then Kamdev approached Narada, great saint, you are such a great, I tried my best to destroy your tapasya, but in vain. I feel very sorry, please forgive me. Kamdev went away. Now Narad is thinking, oh, I have won over Kama. I have won over lust. Who else is there in the history? As a competitor, the name of Shankara came to his mind. Oh, Shankara has also defeated Kama. But the ego inside of Narad is telling, yes, Shankara must have defeated Narad, but Shankara had this krodha in him. He got angry. He just put ashes, just bring Narad, bring Kamdev, just burnt Kamdev to ashes. But I didn't become angry. I am much more greater than this Shiva. Shiva was angry with Kama, he burnt him to ashes, but I didn't have this anger. I am bigger than Shiva. Narada went to Kailash, told Lord Shankar, O Lord, I did great penance, Kamdev came and he was defeated. I did it. Lord Shankar praised him, O Narad, you are really a great tapasvi. None can equal you. Narad said, O Lord Shiva, I didn't become angry over Kama. Just telling you became angry. You burned Kama to ashes, but I didn't become angry. Again Lord Shiva praised him like anything and said, O Naradji, don't tell this thing to Lord Vishnu. Narad started from there and just thinking how Lord Shiva is so much jealous of me. He is trying to tell the whole world that he only won over Kama. He is telling me not to tell Vishnu about this. He went to Vaikuntha. Narad reached Vaikuntha and told Lord Vishnu, "Oh Lord, I have won over this Kama. Kama defeated. Kama was defeated." Lord Vishnu at once thought, "Oh my, this devotee is under the grip of this Ahankara. I must do something for him." Here Narad is praising himself. "Oh Lord, I didn't become angry. I defeated Kama." Lord Vishnu said, "Something is to be done to save my this devotee." Narad went from there. When he is going away, he is seeing that a new city has come up. Narad was wondering, I have passed through this place number of times, the city was not there. And he saw that the city was being decorated. He was all the more wondered. And seeing Narad, the citizens of the city, they came, prostrated before him, said, "Oh Venerable Sir, today you have come to a very fortunate day. Tomorrow is the wedding of our king's daughter. You please go to his court. He will be very happy." Narad went to the court of the king. Seeing him, king was overwhelmed. He said, "Naradji, you have come to a very opportune time. Tomorrow is the wedding of my daughter. I will just call her and just tell me how will be her partner. Just seeing her palm, just tell me." Her daughter was brought. Name was Vishwamohini. Seeing him, Narad saw such a wonderful beauty. He thought, such a wonderful girl, she is so much beautiful. Narad is thinking, if my marriage is held with this beautiful girl, how nice it will be. At the moment he started reading the palm of the girl, what was written? "Jo yah barahi amar sohoyi, samar bhumi tehi jetan koi." Whosoever will marry this girl, he will become immortal. Nobody will be able to win in the battle. He will become immortal. Narad became infatuated. How this girl should marry me. He went away, and at a place he went to, nobody was there. Just started thinking what to do. How this girl will marry me. What to do? Then he remembered, "More hitu hari sam nahi koi, yahi avasar sahay soi hoi." Lord Vishnu is my greatest benefactor. It is he who can help me. He just thought of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu appeared before him. "Well, Narad, why you have remembered me?" Narad narrated the whole story. He said, "Lord, give me your figure for a day, so that girl may marry me. Just for a day. Just give your appearance." Lord Vishnu said, "Narad, I will do what will be good for you." Narad said, "Lord, my good is in itself. If I don't get this girl, my life will be in vain. I will die." "Be sure, Narad, I will do whatever is good for you. Be sure, be assured of it." Narad went to the place where this wedding was to be held, Swayamvar was to be held. And by the side of Narad, two Rudraganas were sitting. Servants of Lord Shiva, they were sitting by his side. And they are saying, "How beautiful is Narada. Today Vishwamohini is surely going to wed him. How beautiful Narada." And Narada is thinking, really Lord Vishnu has given his appearance, given his shape to me. When Vishwamohini came with the Varamala, just garland in her hand, Narada is just thinking that garland will be put on her head, put on his head. But the moment Vishwamohini looked at Narada, just in a scorn, she went away, seeing with a scorn, and put her face towards the other side and went away from the Narad. Narad was thinking, Lord Vishnu has given his face, given his appearance to me, and she discarded me. And then Narad is saying that Lord Vishnu himself has come on that place, and this Vishnu put the garland on the neck of Lord Vishnu. Here Narad is thinking, Lord Vishnu has given his appearance to me, and that girl has put the garland in the neck of Vishnu. What does it happen? These two Rudraganas said, Oh Naradji, what a beautiful face you are having. Just see your face in the mirror. Narad didn't get any mirror, but he went towards a lake and saw his image on the water. A fierce monkey's face the Lord has given. Fearful monkey's face. And Narad became so angry on Lord Vishnu. He started saying, Dahi ho shaap ki mari ho jai, jagat mor upahas karai. I will go and just curse him, otherwise I will die. He has made me a laughing stock before everybody. I will just go and curse him. Enraged, Narad is going. On the way, he saw that Lord Vishnu is coming. With one side is Lakshmi, another side is this Vishnu Mohini. Seeing the anger of Narad again rose up. Lord Vishnu said, Oh Narad, I am seeing you so much perplexed. What's the reason? Where are you going? Narad said, Don't you know where I am going? Lord Vishnu says, I know, Narad, you want to come to me. But path you have chosen will not lead to me. Kama, Krodha, Arulobha, Sab, Nath, Naraka, Panth. The root of this Kama and Krodha leads to hell, Narad. It will not bring to me. You want to come to me, but the path you have chosen, that of Kama, that of Krodha. And Narad started abusing Lord Vishnu like anything. You are very selfish, you are very cunning. You say, Mathat Sindhu Rudrahi Vaurayu Surana Preri Vishpan Karayu. When this ocean was stirred, when this Visha came out of it, poison came out of it, you made Shiva to drink that poison. Wine came out of this ocean, you made all these asuras to drink that wine. You are very selfish. When Rama came out of the ocean, you married Rama, Lakshmi. When there was a Kaustubha jewel, that Kaustubha jewel you took. Asura Sura Vishashankarahi Aap Rama Manichar. When wine came, you made this asuras, made them to drink wine, gave poison to Shankara, took this cost of money for yourself, took this Lakshmi for yourself. You are very selfish, very cunning, abusing Lord Vishnu like anything. Lord Vishnu said, No, Narad, there is a custom when the wedding takes place, the side of the bridegroom, they just abuse the other party. And so there was no one to abuse me there, so you are doing this work. Anyway. And then Narad, he curses Lord Vishnu, as you have not allowed me to become, to marry that beautiful girl, you will also be for 14 years, you will be worried about your wife. You will have to live in Jangala. You have given me a face of a monkey, these monkeys will be your helper. And then afterwards, Narad came to what he has done. Ask pardon of Shri Ram. The thing is, when this ego comes inside us, all the virtues that we are having, they are all destroyed by this ego. And this Kumbhakarna is the ego personified. When Ravan said, my army will help you, he said, I need no army. I am alone sufficient to finish Rama's army. Goswamiji writes, कुंभकर्ण दुर्मद रणरंगा चला दुर्ग तजसीन संगा. Alone this Kumbhakarna is going with no army besides him. Rama saw at a distance Kumbhakarna is coming. He asked Vibhishana, it seems to be your relative, please introduce him. Vibhishana said, O Lord, he is our brother, he is the brother of Ravana, he is Kumbhakarna. All the monkeys, when they heard that it is the Kumbhakarna, the brother of Ravana, all these monkeys, they just pounce upon him with their weapons. What are the weapons of these monkeys? Somebody took the rock, somebody uprooted the tree and just throwing at the Kumbhakarna. And Kumbhakarna, what he is feeling? He is feeling as if somebody is throwing flowers, somebody is throwing fruits on him. This rock and these trees make no effect on him. On the other hand, he is just taking the monkeys and just devouring him. Koti kapi dhari dhari khai. He is just taking out this hundreds and thousands of monkeys and just devouring him. Who are these monkeys? These monkeys are Kaivalya sadhana akila bhalu marakata vikata. They are all the sadhans of this Kaivalya moksha. All these good qualities. This monkey represents all these good qualities. The thing is, with our good qualities, if we want to win over this ahankara, it is not possible. All the big warriors of Rama's army, they fought with Kumbhakarna and were defeated. Only one person didn't fight with this Kumbhakarna, and he was Lakshmana. Was Lakshmana afraid of Kumbhakarna? No. Lakshmana is the acharya of jivas. He is the teacher of jivas. Lakshmana's saying was, O Lord, this Kumbhakarna, this ahankar cannot be killed by jiva. Only you can kill this ahankar. Except the Lord, nobody can kill ahankar. The same thing Sri Ramakrishna used to say, this ahankar cannot be won over by jiva. There are two types of ahankara. One is called as ripe ahankara, another is unripe ahankara. This unripe ahankara is that I am so learned, I am so powerful, I am so great. These are this unripe ahankara which puts a person to let him down. But ripe ahankara is, I am the son of the Lord, I am the servant of the Lord, I am the slave of the Lord. This is the ripe ahankara. It doesn't do any harm to a person. But this ahankara cannot be killed. So Lakshmana didn't fight out. And all these great warriors of Sri Rama's army, they fought with Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna made them all fainted. Goswamiji writes, Angadadi kapi murachita kari sameta sugni kakadabi kapi rajaka chalayatun balasi. Angadadi kapi murachita. He fainted this Angada, Sugriv, Hanuman, Jamban. And he took this fainted Sugriv on his armpit and started going. His intention was, your brother Bali has put my brother Ravana on his armpit, so I will take the revenge today. Sugriv was fainted and was in his armpit. In the meantime, Sugriva got his consciousness and saying, where am I? He is saying, Hari, I am on the armpit of this ahankara, this Kumbhakarna. So is our condition also. Sometimes when we are taken by this ahankara, this ego, good sense prevails unto us. When we come to know, Hari, we are just a prey, we have become prey to this ahankara. How should we be free from it? We should do the same thing which Sugriva has done. What Sugriva did? Sugriva thought that I cannot win over this Kumbhakarna. He made himself just like a dead body, as if he is dead. And Kumbhakarna saw, this person is dead. If I take him, people laugh at me, he is bringing a dead body. This is the way to make ourselves free from ahankara. On the dead body, you praise the dead body, there is no reaction. You just throw a stone on the dead body, it has no reaction. You praise the dead body, you have no reaction. So, if we want to be free from ahankara, anybody praise, there should not be any reaction. Anybody curse, anybody abuse, when the reaction is not there, then only we can be free from this ahankara. Sugriva made himself just like a dead body. And then this Kumbhakarna released him, let him falls away. He is dead, thinking him dead. But Sugriva was not dead. He just rose up and then he cut the nose and ears of this Kumbhakarna and started fleeing. A person who is in the grip of ahankara, grip of this ego, is very much careful about this nose and ears. He is very much careful. Ears should be always protected so that he may always get these birds of praise, always. And what is the name of Kumbhakarna? His ears are just like a big pot. So, when we are under this spell of ahankara, we always want that somebody is also always praising us. That should go into our ears. But then this Kumbhakarna saw, that person is not dead. I thought him to be dead, and that fellow has cut my ears and also my nose. Became very angry, he just ran towards this Sugriva. And Sugriva knows that he will be unable to kill this Kumbhakarna. What he did? Sugriva went, and where Sri Ram was standing, Sugriva went and just stand behind Sri Ram. Sri Ram saw that from a distance this Kumbhakarna is coming. Sri Ram asked all his army to jump, just to go behind him. Goswami Ji writes, Ram sen nij paachi dhali chale sakup maha balasali. Rama removed all the army to be on his back, and when this Kumbhakarna is coming with rage, with anger, with one arrow Sri Ram finished him. With one arrow he killed him. So, this ahankara comes in the form of this Kumbhakarna. Sri Ram killed him. A thought comes to our mind. By doing good deeds, if this ahankara comes in our mind, it is better not to perform any good deed. By doing charity, if ahankara comes, so that I am very charitable. By doing penance, if this ahankara comes, I am great tapasvi. It is better not to do good things. A person was listening, a wealthy person was listening to a sage this very story. After this discourse was over, this sage, a wealthy man, went to that sage, says, "Oh sir, today you have relieved me of a great sin I am going to do." "What sin you are going to incur?" "Sir, I have thought of donating 10,000 rupees to you for your work, but you have said, by doing charity, that ahankar will come to me, that I am just a charitable person. So I have decided not to do any charity to you, not to give anything to you." This should not be the thing. Thinking that by doing virtuous deeds, we will be on the spell of this ahankara, we don't perform this virtuous deeds. This is not proper. We should do good deeds, but keeping Lord in the front, or keeping self-effort at the back. If we put our purushartha, self-effort at the front, this will give rise to our ahankara. But if we put the Lord on the, say, in front, and keep our self-effort in the back, Lord will give impetus to our self-effort. First, these monkeys were just fighting with these demons. That's why they were defeated. But when these monkeys were behind Shri Ram came forward. Then Shri Ram killed this demon, this Kumbhakarna. There is an incident. These monkeys were making bridge on the ocean. For months they were putting stones and everything to prepare the bridge so that Shri Ram can go to Lanka. After months of hard labor, that bridge was prepared. Jaman went to Shri Ram telling, "Oh Lord, now our bridge is prepared. All our monkeys can pass this ocean." Shri Ram told, "Very good, Jambanta. Ask the monkeys to cross over the ocean." Jamban said, "But Lord, there is one thing. The bridge that has been made is very narrow. And all these monkeys are millions in number, so it will take a very long time to pass the ocean." "Oh, this is the case," Shri Ram told. "Let me go and see. If there is any necessity, I will make another bridge." Jamant is wondering how Lord could prepare another bridge. And what happened? Shri Rama went. The moment he stand on the bridge prepared by these monkeys, all the creatures of the sea that they just come up to look at Shri Rama. All the creatures. They were crocodiles, they were fishes, they saw all the creatures of the sea. Goswamiji writes, sea, writes, all the creatures, they come on the surface of the sea. देखन कह प्रभु करुणा कंदा प्रगट भय सब जलचर वृंदा. Just in order to see Sri Ram, all the creatures of the sea, they come up. So Swamiji writes, देखन कह प्रभु करुणा कंदा प्रगट भय सब जलचर वृंदा. तिनकी ओटन देखिया मगन भये हरि रूप निहारी. So much was the number of this creature. Tinki otan dekhiye bari. Now there is no water is seen, only the creatures and creatures and creatures. Shri Rama told to Jamvant, "Well, Jamvant, this new bridge is performed, constructed. Your army can go on it." Looking all those creatures, Javan says, "Oh Lord, is this the bridge? Our monkeys will put their legs on this, monkey will go down, this creature will also go down, and these monkeys will be killed by so many crocodiles are there. Is this the bridge?" Man has a belief on his bridge created by him, but he doesn't have belief on the bridge created by Lord. That is the thing. Lord Rama said, "Oh, you think like that? Just a test whether the bridge is strong or not." These monkeys are bringing stones and rocks and throwing at these creatures. But nobody is moving from that place. प्रभु ही बिलो कहीं तरहि नटारी सब हर्षित सब भय सुखारी. With one eyes they are looking at Sri Rama. Stones were pelted at them, trees were pelted at them, but didn't move at all. Then Sri Rama said, "Well, Jamvant, now did you believe that this bridge is also strong?" Jamvant felt ashamed. He said, "Oh Lord, I have come to the point. Yes, this bridge constructed by you is very strong, and all over this army will go." So all the army passed away from that bridge. There were three categories. सेतु बंद भई भीरयति नभ कपि पंथ उड़ाय अपर जल चरण ऊपर चढ़ी चढ़ी पार जाय. All these monkeys that were on this side, they all went across the ocean, across the bridge. There were three categories. There were some monkeys who flew across the ocean, flew over the bridge. Goswamis, they said they are Jnana Margi. They are a follower of knowledge, who cross this ocean by means of jnana. There were some monkeys who passed this bridge made by themselves. They were karma margi. They had belief unto their action. They crossed this bridge of ocean by their own effort. But the millions of monkeys were there who crossed this bridge over these creatures. They were all bhakti margis who had belief unto Lord. Whole army passed away, crossed the ocean. Jambavanta came and said to Lord Ram, "Oh Lord, all our army has passed the bridge. They have reached the other side." Lord said, "Very good, Jambavanta, very good news." Jambavanta said, "But Lord, I have one question to ask you." "Is there any question remain?" "Yes, you ask me." Jambavanta said, "When you can make this bridge, so nice a bridge in a moment's time, why didn't you do this before? For months together, all these monkeys were trying and making this bridge, but in a moment's time you had made such a wonderful bridge. Across with all these millions of our monkeys they have crossed. Why didn't you do that earlier?" Sri Ram told, "Oh Jambavanta, first tell me, how could I make this bridge? When I stand on the bridge that was prepared by you, then only I can make this bridge or not. If there was no bridge prepared by you, where could I stand? It was your bridge. When I stand on your bridge, I could prepare this bridge of compassion." So this is the thing. Man has to do this as self-effort. Purusharth is necessary. When we'll do Purusharth, keeping Lord in front, Lord will give impetus to our Purushartha. But if we only do Purusharth having no belief unto Lord, this Purusharth will lead us to this anger, lead us to this egotism. So, this is the way Sri Lord Ram tells before us. That is, we should keep Lord in front of us, do the self-effort. By that, this ahankar inside us, that will be this ahankar in the form of Kumbhakarna, this infatuation in form of Ravana, they are all inside us. Ravana is inside us in form of this infatuation, moha. Kumbhakarna is inside us in form of this ahankara. This Meghnad is inside us in form of luster. All these Rakshasas are inside us in form of different evil propensities, but Lord Ram is there. He is there to come and kill all those evil propensities that is inside us. That is the notion of Goswami Tulsidas Ji. He said Sri Ram didn't incarnate to kill this Ravana or Kumbhakarna, but his incarnation is for killing, for removing all these evil propensities that is inside us. So I am grateful to Swami Chaitananda Ji for giving me an opportunity for meeting you and telling something about the Ramayana. I am also very much thankful to you that you have come over here, and I pray to Lord for giving us peace of mind, happiness in our life. Let us finish this by chanting the name of the Lord. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai 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 Ram. Shri
We are very grateful to Swami for his beautiful presentation of Ramcharitmanas. It is so entertaining and joyful, I cannot tell you. His music, his voice, and his talk, and it is a huge volume. He just gave you a little taste of that huge book on Ramcharitmanas. Tulsidas was a great soul. I went to Chitrakoot back in 19 Allahabad. I still remember when he was talking about Chitrakoot. So anyhow, we are grateful to Swami that he could come and give this beautiful presentation of Ramcharitmanas. He can speak, for hours and for several days. Sometimes he goes to retreat or something like that. It is not a one thing, he just gave a little introduction of that huge Ramcharitmanas tonight. All right, thank you, Vaidiraji. Only if it was a Sanjay, people would really fill up the place. All right, now, please come. I'm glad that